So I just read the second Tales of the Gas Station book, and I loved the first one. If you saw my video of it, yeah, I raved about it. It's one of the funniest books I've ever read, actually the funniest book I've ever read, and one of the weirdest. Volume 2 is still funny, but it replaces that with more agency and higher stakes that make for a more thrilling book. So this time around, about 2 weeks after the first book, there's a loose killer and a gas station customer has been murdered in his home, and there's a connection to the protagonist Jack with that murder. It propels him into a deeper conspiracy that still ties to the first book, but greatly expands into new territory. This time around, Jack gets a lot more agency. He takes things a lot more seriously, and you see a lot more depth to him emotionally, which makes it for still a very hilarious ride, but also something that's still very much more emotional and pulls on the heartstrings a little bit more. And the other characters, the side characters, get a lot more to do, with some great introductions to new characters, and then just some of the returning characters get a lot more depth that makes me love them even more than I already did in the first book. Or some people who I was like, oh, they're cool, but now I really love and am invested in. I'm so excited to see where this series goes. I think there's 4 books total, and if you want a horror comedy that leans probably more towards like a thriller comedy and can really balance tone really well, I cannot recommend Tales of the Gas Station Volume 2 enough, 1 and 2 enough, and hopefully 3 and 4 are just as good.